Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांता राधा स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांता स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी वाचाते सतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर साधि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji Sanmata is the Nath Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for joining today. I think Deepa Mataji is busy with some personal marriage, somebody's marriage. She won't be able to join. Maybe join for hearing. So let us begin with Mangalasharana prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nite Nomine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshkatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam pangam langayate girim yat kripātamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramarandamadavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Om Abhavitra Pavitro Va Sarvavastam Gatopi Va Yasmaret Pundarikaksham Sabhyabhyantaram Suchihi. Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. Let me share one second. So, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 18th chapter. We are at yes. Yeah, 18, 14 onwards. Yeah. Somebody said. Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Mataji. I am on hearing mode today as I'm not feeling well. Okay. Yeah, thank you for joining, Prabhu. Gaurav Prabhu, please relax, take care of yourself. Yeah, let me share. Now let us read from this. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. Canto is entitled as Creation, chapter 18. Chapter 18 talks about Maharaja Parikshit cursed by a Brahmana boy. We are at text 44. Yeah. Mata is, yes. Sandhya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Please read Mataji.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Ki Jai. Translation. Due to the termination of the monarchical regimes and the plundering of the people's wealth by rogues and thieves, there will be great social disruptions. People will be killed and injured, and animals and women will be stolen. And for all these sins, we shall be responsible. Purport. The word na, we, is very significant in this verse. The sage rightly takes the responsibility of the Brahmanas as a community for killing monarchical government and thus giving an opportunity to the so-called democrats, who are generally plunderers of the wealth of the state subjects. The so-called democrats capture the administrative nation without assuming responsibility for the prosperous condition of the citizens. Everyone captures the post for personal gratification, and thus instead of one king, a number of irresponsible kings grow up to tax the citizens. It is foretold hearing that in the absence of good monarchical government, everyone will be the cause of disturbance for others by plundering riches, animals, women, etc.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I can read Prabhuji. Hare
Acha.
Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Please read, yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Just one.
Yeah.
At that time, the people will fall systematically from the path of a progressive civilization in respect to the qualitative engagements of the castes and the orders of society and the Vedic injunctions. Thus, they will be more attracted to economic development for sense gratification, and as a result, there will be an unwanted population on the level of dogs and monkeys. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is foretold herein that in the absence of a monarchical regime, the general mass of people will be an unwanted population like dogs and monkeys. As the monkeys are too sexually inclined and dogs are shameless in sexual intercourse, the general mass of population born of illegitimate connection will systematically go astray from the Vedic way of good manners and qualitative engagements in the castes and orders of life. The Vedic way of life is the progressive march of the civilization of the Aryans. The Aryans are progressive in Vedic civilization. The Vedic civilization's destination is to go back to Godhead, back home, where there is no birth, no death, no old age, and no disease. The Vedas direct everyone not to remain in the darkness of the material world, but to go towards the light of the spiritual kingdom, for beyond the material sky. The qualitative caste system and the orders of life are scientifically planned by the Lord and his representatives, the great rishis. The perfect way of life gives all sorts of instruction in things both material and spiritual. The Vedic way of life does not allow any man to be like the monkeys and dogs. A degraded civilization and of sense gratification and economic development is the byproduct of a godless or kingless government of the people, by the people and for the people. The people should not therefore begrudge the poor administrations they themselves elect. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Lavanya, can you read?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
1.18.46. Translation and prepared by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The Emperor Parikshit is a pious king. He is highly celebrated as a first-class devotee of the personality of Godhead. He is saint amongst royalty and he has performed many hot sacrifices. When such a king is tired and fatigued, being stricken with hunger and thirst, he does not at all deserve to be cursed. Purport. After explaining the general course relating to the royal position and asserting that the king can do no wrong and therefore is never to be condemned, the sage Shamika want to say something about Emperor Parikshit specifically. The specific qualification of Maharaj Parikshit is summarized herein. The king, even calculated as a king only, was most celebrated as a ruler who administered the religious principles of the royal order. In the Shastras, the duties of all castes and orders of the society are prescribed. All the qualities of a Kshatriya mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita 18.43 were present in the person of the emperor. He was also a great devotee of the Lord and a self-realized soul. Cursing such a king when he was tired and fatigued with hunger and thirst was not at all proper. Shamika Rishi thus admitted from all sides that Maharaj Parikshit was cursed most unjustly. Although all the Brahmanas were aloof from the incident, still for the childless action of the Brahmana boy, the whole world situation was changed. Thus Rishi Shamika, a Brahmana, took responsibility for all deterioration of the good orders of the world. Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What is this verse? All the Kshatriya qualities. Sauryam tejo ditirdakshyam yuddhe chapi apalayanam danam ishvara bhavascha kshatram karma swabhajam. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Haribo. Let us continue. Radhika Mata, Hare Krishna, can you able to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
1 second. All translations and purport by our beloved founder Acharya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Then the Rishi prayed to the all-pervading personality of Godhead to pardon his immature boy, who had no intelligence and who committed the great sin of cursing a person who was completely free from all sins, who was subordinate and who deserved to be protected. Purport. Everyone is responsible for his own action, either pious or sinful. Rishi Shamika could foresee that his son had committed a great sin by cursing Maharaj Parikshit, who deserved to be protected by the Brahmanas, for he was a pious ruler and completely free from all sins because of his being a first-class devotee of the Lord. When an offense is done unto the devotee of the Lord, it is very difficult to overcome the reaction. The Brahmanas, being at the head of the social orders, are meant to give protection to their subordinates and not to curse them. There are occasions when a Brahmana may furiously curse a subordinate Kshatriya or Vaishya, etc. But in the case of Maharaj Parikshit, there were no grounds, as already explained. The foolish boy had done it out of sheer vanity in being a Brahmana's son, and thus he became liable to be punished by the law of God. The Lord never forgives a person who condemns his pure devotee. Therefore, by cursing a king, the foolish Shringi had committed not only a sin, but also the greatest offense. Therefore, the Rishi could foresee that only the Supreme Personality of Godhead could save his boy from his sinful act. He therefore directly prayed for pardon from the Supreme Lord, who alone can undo a thing which is impossible to change. The appeal was made in the name of a foolish boy who had developed no intelligence at all. A question may be raised herein that since it was the desire of the Lord that Maharaj Parikshit be put into awkward position so that he might be delivered from material existence, then why was a Brahmana's son made responsible for this offensive act? The answer is that the offensive act was performed by a child only so that he could be excused very easily, and thus the prayer of the father was accepted. But if the question is raised why the Brahmana community as a whole was made responsible for allowing Kali into the world affairs, the answer is given in the Varaha Puran that the demons who acted inimically towards this personality of Godhead but were not killed by the Lord were allowed to take birth in the families of Brahmanas to take advantage of the age of Kali. The all-merciful Lord gave them a chance to have their births in the families of pious Brahmanas so that they could progress towards salvation. But the demons, instead of utilizing the good opportunity, misused the Brahminical culture due to being puffed up by vanity in becoming Brahmanas. The typical example is the son of Shamika Rishi, and all the foolish sons of Brahmanas are warned hereby not to become as foolish as Shringi and to be always on guard against the demoniac qualities which they had in their previous births. The foolish boy was, of course, excused by the Lord, but others who may not have a father like Shamika Rishi will be put into great difficulty if they misuse the advantages obtained by birth in a Brahmana family. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yes. Yeah, so nicely explained by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. 48, text 48. I think Mata is done now. Yeah, Prabhuji. Raju Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Not from Prabhuji.
Translation: the devotees of the Lord are so forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. Purport: Rishi Shamika also knew that the Lord does not forgive a person who has committed an offense at the feet of a devotee. The Lord can only give direction to take shelter of the devotee. He thought within himself that if Maharaja Parikshit would counter curse a boy, he might be saved. But he knew that sorry.
Yeah.
But he knew also that a pure devotee is callous about worldly advantages or reverses. As such, the devotee are never inclined to counteract personal defamation, curses, negligence, etc. As far as such things are concerned, in personal affairs, the devotees do not care for them. But in the case of their being performed against the Lord and his devotees, then the devotees take very strong action. It was a personal affair, and therefore Shamika Rishi knew that the king would not take counteraction. Thus, there was no alternative than the place and appeal to the Lord for the immature boy. It is not that only the Brahmanas are powerful enough to award curses or blessing upon the subordinates. The devotee of the Lord, even though he may not be a Brahmana, is more powerful than the Brahmana. But a powerful devotee never misuses the power of her personal benefit. Whatever power the devotee may have is always utilized in the service towards the Lord and his devotees only. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So Prabhuji, other than Brahmana, also they can give curses, Prabhuji, if he is a devotee. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, what is the question, Mataji?
Other than Brahmanas, also they can give curses, Prabhuji.
అంటే ఎవరైనా ఇవ్వచ్చు కదా. I mean, other than
Curse can be
Brahman.
given to anyone, Mataji. But how powerful is, it depends upon the tapasya which you do. How
Right.
counter. Yes,
Brahmanas can curse.
See, Mataji, actually, earlier system was like that. A person who cannot physically fight will curse. A person who physically fights will not curse. It's like that, as simple as that. Now, who will curse? Generally, who do tapasya and all will curse. And that is more dangerous than fighting.
So Prabhuji, mainly like Brahmanas do tapasya, but why they are because Brahmanas qualities are we have heard, right? Why do they curse, Prabhuji? Like they have some like tolerance, everything will be right.
So if everything is there and he is also devotee, then he will become Vaishnava, Mataji. But if he is not devotee and he is having all other qualities, so he will have a quality to release the venting of anger also. So that comes through cursing. And it is also like that, Mataji, when he curses, all his tapasya will be lost. That is also there. And if you see, like even Kshatriyas will curse, Mataji. The Gandhari. Okay? Gandhari cursed Krishna. And all her tapasya was lost. Then she said, now you go. All the Pandavas to go in front of her. So our austerity power will also get decreased like anything if we take curses. Sorry, if we give curses.
Okay.
Generally, people who can't fight will give curses. People who can fight, they won't curse. So many Shudras, they don't do curses. They will directly fight. And Vaishyas, they will buy things with money. Okay, they will buy the penalty with money. And Brahmanas, they curse. Kshatriyas, they fight.
Yes.
And the downtrodden, like some people who are not, who cannot fight, will curse by doing austerity. Yeah.
Yes,
Giriraj Prabhu, you can add something, Prabhu, if I'm wrong somewhere.
You said right, Prabhu. So,
Prabhu, if you laugh like that, it will appear for me that as if you are scolding inside your heart.
Nothing. No, don't take it that way. Don't take it that way. So that's the thing. So, yeah, according to the level of tapasya, anybody, I mean, what are the other examples we can see in the past times? This is one such instance. I'm just
Vishwamitra and that other king, Vasishta. Yeah. By caste, he is not a Kshatriya. So he is not Brahmana, but he became Brahmana, Vishwamitra. By tapasya. And he started counter cursing many, Vishwamitra. And you know that struggle where it has gone. That king who goes upside down, what is his name? In Ram.
Which one, Prabhuji?
Trishanku. See, this Trishanku is a very smart guy actually. So whenever we'll get time, we'll just read about this personality, Trishanku. So what he does, he is from a family of Lord Ram, Raghuvamsa, the lineage, in the before lineage of Lord Ram. So what happens? The Kulguru of Lord Ram's family is Vasishta. Okay. So he doesn't like Vasishta because Vasishta is very fair. He is never nice. Okay. Generally, the Brahmanas will be fair. They will never be nice to you. You know the difference between being fair and being nice? Being nice means to talk nicely, but not giving a message properly. Being fair means it doesn't matter how I talk, but I should give you the message properly. That is being fair. So Brahmanas in the earlier days, they were fair. They were never nice. Okay. And Kshatriyas in earlier days, they were very nice, but they were never fair. Not always fair. Okay. Only Rajarshis would be fair and nice also. But generally, Kshatriyas will be nice, but not always fair.
Yes.
Are we going away from the topic, or else we will study? We will start reading. Prabhuji and Mataji, does anyone think that I'm trespassing your time? You can share. I'll stop it here. We will discuss it some other day. And we will study. We'll continue our reading.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sapan Prabhuji, please read 49 verse.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Translation. The sage thus regretted the sin committed by his own son. He did not take the insult paid by the king very seriously. Purport. The whole incident is now cleared up. Maharaja Parikshit's garlanding the sage with a dead snake was not at all a very serious offense, but Shringi's cursing the king was a serious offense. The serious offense was committed by a foolish child only. Therefore, he deserved to be pardoned by the Supreme Lord. Although it was not possible to get free from the sinful reaction, Maharaja Parikshit also did not mind the curse offered to him by a foolish Brahmana. On the contrary, he took full advantage of the awkward situation, and by the great will of the Lord, Maharaja Parikshit achieved the highest perfection of life through the grace of Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Actually, it was the desire of the Lord and Maharaja Parikshit. Rishi Samika and his son Shringi were all instrumental in fulfilling the desire of the Lord. So none of them were put into difficulty because everything was done in relation with the Supreme Person. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. If it has to be happen like that, so these are all instruments. Shamik Rishi, his son Shringi, Maharaj Parikshit. So that's why Bhagavatam has to be discussed. That's the thing, yeah. We have to understand. This one very important. Srila Prabhupada has written. He took full advantage of it, and by the great will of the Lord, Maharaj Parikshit achieved the highest perfection of life through the grace of Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Actually, it was the desire of the Lord. Maharaj Parikshit, Rishi Sambhika and his son Sringi were all instrumental. They are all instruments in the hands of Krishna. It has to happen like that. That's why this pastime in Bhagavatam is discussed. Thank you, Prabhuji again. 50th was Akinchan Priya Prabhu.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Generally, the transcendentalists, even though engaged by others in the dualities of the material world, are not distressed, nor do they take pleasure in worldly things, for they are transcendentally engaged. Purport. The transcendentalists are the empirical philosophers, the mystics, and the devotees of the Lord. Empiric philosophers aim at the perfection of merging into being of an absolute. Mystics aims at perceiving all pervading supersoul, and the devotees of the Lord are engaged in transcendental loving service of the personality of Godhead. Since Brahman, Paramatman, and Bhagwan are different faces of the same transcendence, all these transcendentalists are beyond the three modes of material nature. Material distresses and happiness are the product of three modes, and therefore the causes of such material distress and happiness has nothing to do with transcendentalists. The king was a devotee and a rishi was a mystic. Therefore, both of them were unattached to the accidental incidents created by the Supreme Will. The playful child was an instrument in fulfilling the Lord's will. Thus, ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of first canto of 18th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Maharaj Parikshit cursed by the Brahmana.
Very good. Thank you, Prabhuji. Let us read translations. Okay. So, cursed by a Brahmana. What is a Brahmana's why name? Quickly.
Shringi.
Shringi's father name?
Shamika Rishi.
What he has put Parikshit Maharaj on the head of?
Dead snake.
Dead snake.
Parikshit Maharaj put on.
Because of why he got angry? What are the...
No proper reception because of and he being thirsty.
Yeah. And that also Prabhupada writes multiple times. It's a will of the Lord. It has to. Parikshit Maharaj is a, by birth is a devotee, but he wanted to. So Krishna's will has to happen like that. That's the thing. Okay. Who is Parikshit Maharaj's father name?
Abhimanyu.
Abhimanyu.
Mother name?
Uttara.
Uttara's father name?
Arjun. Sorry, Virata. King Virata.
Viradhara. Abhimanyu's father?
Arjun.
Nice. Haribol. So let us read 5 translation. Let me Prabhu. Read, Prabhu.
5 Prabhu, how many?
5 చేద్దాం.
Okay. Chapter 18, Canto 1, Maharaj Parikshit, first by Brahmana Bhaya. Text 1. Shri Sutta Goswami said, due to the mercy of personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Maharaj Parikshit, though struck by weapon of the son of Drona in his mother's womb, could not be burned. Furthermore, text 2. Furthermore, Maharaj Parikshit was always consciously surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he was neither afraid nor overwhelmed by fear due to a snake bird which was to bite him because of the fury of a Brahmana boy. Text 3. Furthermore, after leaving all his associates, the king surrendered himself as a disciple to the son of Vyasa, Sukadeva Goswami. And thus, he was able to understand the actual position of personality of Godhead and at last gave up his material body at the back of Ganges. Text 4. This was so because those who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead, of whom the Vedic hymns sing, and who are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, do not run the risk of having misconceptions even at the last moment of their lives. Text 5. As long as the great, powerful son of Abhimanyu remains the emperor of the world, there is no chance that the personality of Kali will flourish. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Let me read. Then over to one more round of reading. Text 6. The very day and moment the personality of God, Lord Sri Krishna, left this earth, the personality of Kali, who promotes all kinds of irreligious activity, came into this world. Text 7. Maharaja Parikshita was a realist, like the bees who only accept the essence of a flower. He knew perfectly well that in this age of Kali, auspicious things produce good effects immediately, whereas inauspicious acts must be actually performed to render effects. So he was never envious of the personality of Kali. Text 8. Maharaja Parikshit considered that less intelligent men might find the personality of Kali to be very powerful, but that those who are self-controlled would have nothing to fear. The king was powerful like a tiger and took care for the foolish, careless persons. Text 9. O sages, as you did ask me, now I have described almost everything regarding the narrations about Lord Krishna in connection with the history of the pious Maharaja Parikshit. Text 10. Those who are desirous of achieving complete perfection in life must submissively hear all topics that are connected with the transcendental activities and qualities of the personality of Godhead, who acts wonderfully. A beautiful verse actually. Text 10. Yaya Katha Bhagavata Kathaniyor Karmana Guna Karma Shaya Umbhi Samsevyastha Bubhushubhi. So nice. 10th one. Let me read again. Those who are desirous for achieving complete perfection in life must submissively hear all topics that are connected with the transcendental activities and qualities of the personality of Godhead, who acts wonderfully. Haribol. Now Mata is again. Yeah. Deepa Mata, you are able to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. The good sages said, O grave Sutta Goswami, may you live many years and have eternal fame, for you are speaking very nicely about the activities of Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. This is just like nectar for mortal beings like us. We have just begun the performance of this fruitive activity, a sacrificial fire, without certainty of its result due to many imperfections in our action. Our bodies have become black from the smoke, but we are factually pleased by the nectar of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, Govinda, which you are distributing. The value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter, and what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are of those who are meant for death. The personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, Govinda, is the exclusive shelter for all great living beings, and his transcendental attributes cannot even be measured by such measures of mystic powers as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Can anyone who is expert in relishing nectar, rasa, ever be fully satiated by hearing topics about him? O Sutta Goswami, you are a learned and pure devotee of the Lord, because the personality of Godhead is your chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of Lord which are above all material conception, for we are anxious to receive such messages. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Radhika Mataji, 16 to 20. Can you please read?
Yes, yes. O Swami, please these topics of the Lord by which Maharaj Parikshit, whose intelligence was fixed on liberation, attained the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of Garuda, the king of birds. Those topics were vibrated by the son of Vyasa, Srila Shukadev. Thus, please narrate to us the narrations of the unlimited, for they are purifying and supreme. They were spoken to Maharaj Parikshit and they are very dear to the pure devotees, being full of bhakti yoga. Sri Sutta Goswami said, O God, although we are born in a mixed caste, we are still promoted in birthright simply by serving and following the great who are advanced in knowledge. Even by conversing with such great souls, one can without delay cleanse oneself of all disqualifications resulting from lower births. And what to speak of those who are under the direction of the great devotees, chanting the holy name of the unlimited, who has unlimited potency, the personality of Godhead, unlimited in potency and transcendental by attributes, is called the Ananta, the unlimited. It is now ascertained that he, the personality of Godhead, is unlimited and there is none equal to him. Consequently, no one can speak of him adequately. Great demigods cannot obtain the favor of the goddess of fortune even by prayers, but this way goddess renders service unto the Lord, although he is unwilling to have such service. Haribol.
Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Sandhya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhupada.
21 to
Text
20.
21. Text 21. Who can be worthy of the name of the Supreme Lord but the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna? Brahmaji collected the water emanating from the nails of his feet in order to award it to Lord Shiva as a worshipful welcome. This very water, the Ganges, is purifying the whole universe, including Lord Shiva. Text 22. Self-controlled persons who are attached to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna can all of a sudden give up the world of material attachment, including the gross body and the subtle mind, and go away to attain the highest perfection of the renounced order of life, by which non-violence and renunciation is consequential. Text 23. O Rishis, who are as powerfully pure as the sun, I shall try to describe to you the transcendental pastimes of Vishnu as far as my knowledge is concerned. As the birds fly in the sky as far as their capacity allows, so do the learned devotees describe the Lord as far as their realization allows. Text 24-25. Once upon a time, Maharaja Parikshit, while engaged in hunting in the forest with the bow and arrows, became extremely fatigued, hungry and thirsty while following the stags. While searching for a reservoir of water, he entered the hermitage of the well-known Samika Rishi and saw the sage sitting silently with closed eyes. Thank you.
Ravana, 26.
Text 26. The Muni's sense organs, breath, mind, intelligence were all restrained from material activities, and he was situated in a trance apart from the three, that is wakefulness, dream, and consciousness, having achieved the transcendental position qualitatively with equal with the Supreme Absolute. Text 27. The sage in meditation was covered by a skin of a stag, and long compressed hair was scattered all over him. The king, whose palate was dry from thirst, asked him for a water. The king, not received by any formal welcome, by means of being offered a seat, place, water, and sweet addresses, considered himself neglected, and so thinking, he became very angry. O Brahmana, the circumstances having distressed him with extreme hunger and thirst, the king directed toward the sage his anger and envy, which he had never before directed toward a Brahmana. While leaving, the king, being so insulted, picked up the lifeless snake with his bow and angrily placed it on the shoulder of the sage. Then he returned to his palace.
Thank you, Ravana. Yes. Raju Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
31 to 34.
Yeah. Upon returning.
Hold on, bro, just a second. Yeah. Yeah, read from.
Upon returning, he began to contemplate and argue within himself whether the sage had actually been in meditation with senses concentrated and eyes closed, or whether he had just been finding trance just to avoid receiving a lower kshatriya. The sage had a son who was very powerful, being a Brahmana's son. While he was playing with the inexperienced boys, he heard of this father's distress, which was occasioned by the king. Then, then and there, the boy spoke as follows: the Brahmana's son, Shringi said, just look at the sins of the rulers who, like crows and watchdogs at the door, uh, per- perpetrate sins against their masters, contrary to the principles governing servants. The descendants of the kingly order are definitely designated as watchdogs, and they must keep themselves at the door. On what grounds can dogs enter to the house and claim to dine with him, the master, on the same plate? After the departure of Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead and supreme ruler everyone, these upstarts us have flourished, our protector being gone. Therefore, I myself shall take up this matter and punish them. Just witness my power. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sapan Prabhuji.
Hello,
62.
Hare Krishna. The son of Rishi, his eyes red hot with anger, touched the water of the river Kaushika while speaking to his playmates and discharged the following thunderbolt of words. Just a minute, Prabhuji. Yeah, the Brahmana's son cursed the king thus: on the 7th day from today, a snake bird will bite the most wretched one of the dynasty, Maharaj Parikshit, because of his having broken the laws of etiquette by insulting my father. Thereafter, when the boy returned to the hermitage, he saw a snake on his father's shoulder, and out of his grief, he cried very loudly. O Brahmanas, the rishi who was born in the family of Angira Muni, hearing his son crying, gradually opened his eyes and saw the dead snake around his neck. He threw the dead snake aside and asked his son why he was crying, whether anyone had done him harm. On hearing this, the son explained to him what had happened. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Akinjan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Please read 41 to 45.
41. Okay. The father heard from his son that the king had been cursed, although he should never have been condemned, for he was the best amongst the human beings. The rishi did not congratulate his son, but on the contrary began to repent, saying, Alas, what a great sinful act was performed by my son. He has awarded a heavy punishment for an insignificant offense. O my boy, your intelligence is immature, and therefore you have no knowledge that a king who is the best amongst human beings is as good as the personality of Godhead. He is never to be placed on equal footing with common men. The citizens of the state live in prosperity, being protected by his unsurpassable prowess. My dear boy, the Lord who carries the wheel of chariot is represented by monarchical rhyme, and when this rhyme is abolished, the whole world becomes filled with the thieves, who then at once vanish the unprotected subjects like scattered lambs. Due to the termination of the monarchical rhymes, all and the plundering of the people's wealth by rogues and thieves, there will be a great social disruption. People will be killed and injured, and animals and women will be stolen. And all these sins we shall be responsible. At that time, the people in general will fall systematically from the path of progressive civilization in respect to the qualitative engagements of the castes and orders of the society and the Vedic injunctions. Thus, they will be more attracted to economic development for sense gratification, and as a result, there will be unwanted population on the levels of dogs and monkeys. Hare Krishna.
Very good. It's last 5 books. Like Mohan Prabhu.
Prabhu, you read Prabhu, because I gave Toshan in between. You can please.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Text 46. The Emperor Parikshit is a pious king. He is highly celebrated and is a first-class devotee of the personality of Godhead. He is a saint among his royalty, and he has performed many harsh sacrifices. When such a king is tired and fatigued, being stricken with hunger and thirst, he does not at all deserve to be cursed. Then, text 47. Then the Rishi prayed to all the pervading personality of Godhead to pardon his immature boy who had no intelligence and who committed the great sin of cursing a person who was completely free from all sins, who was subordinate and who deserved to be protected. Text 48. The devotees of the Lord are so forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. Text 49. The sage thus regretted the sin committed by his own son. He did not take the insult paid by the king very seriously. Text 50. Generally, the transcendentalists, even though engaged by others in the dualities of the material world, are not distressed, nor do they take pleasure in worldly things, for they are transcendentally engaged. Yeah, we have done with this chapter.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Lalit Prabhuji. Like our sacrifice means like Ashwamedha Yaga, Prabhuji. Regarding like, can you explain about Ashwamedha Yagas? Means like, I mean, we can kill, we can sacrifice the horse, Prabhuji. Like benefit of, is it like, what is exactly Prabhuji means? Ashwamedha Yaga and.
No, before sacrificing Prabhuji, we will tell to the horse that if this yagya, that is actually tester Prabhu. Tester means the product has come, the product has been manufactured, and there is a quality department which will be tested, right? The product will be tested either on the test bench or something else, somewhere else, right? You know now. You know this, Prabhu?
Yes, yeah.
Any product will have a quality testing, right?
Yeah.
In the same way, this horse sacrifice, the sacrificing of a horse is a QA, quality assurance, that the yajna which we have performed is good. And how will it be good? The horse which will go inside will come out. The next birth of that horse will be human.
Sorry, Prabhuji. I didn't in Prabhuji.
Hello?
Prabhu. Yeah, before.
Sorry, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yeah, before sacrificing that horse,
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be told in its ear that if at all the sacrifice is proper, the sacrifice which we performed is proper according to the rituals, okay, then you will get your next birth as a human birth.
Okay, for horse, Prabhuji?
For horse,
yeah,
horse, it will have a human birth in the next birth.
Okay.
If at all something has gone wrong and you couldn't get your birth, I will take this thing. This is what is said to its ear.
Okay.
And then it will be, sacrificed. It's not just like that, Prabhuji. And the person, there are many purohits who will be chanting the mantras, and the one main will be presiding all of them. So he will take the curse, Prabhuji, of killing a horse. So everything is a gradually evolutionary process. Nothing is like killing. It is, we are sacrificing it for our quality test, and at the same time we are giving its benefit to it.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji, I understand.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Both of you, Raju Prabhu and Yagman Prabhu, for sharing. Yes. So let us do again recitation of this Kunti Maharani prayers. Let me share PDF. Yes, slides. Okay. I think we have done up to 6 verses. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6, right? Well, till 23, no? So what is the idea, Prabhu? Let us all
The
recite
next
all
two.
the
We will go for the next two, Prabhuji.
next
Okay.
two, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
the pace has become very slow because of the festivals and all. So we will just move forward for some time. Then we will again recite or repeat.
Yes, Prabhu. Then we have done up to 29. So you wanna tell this one?
No, no, no. No, no, no. We have gone more forward.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Vishal Mahatma. Yatha Rishikesha has done.
Yes, then 24, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want every one of you, one devotee will read the synonyms, the other devotee will read translation. Okay.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu.
Start with Mataji's. Who is there? Okay.
Brahmaramba Mata is joined, okay? So,
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Pranam. Yes.
Brahmaramba Mataji, please read synonyms.
Synonyms. Okay, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
1
Read.
minute. I will read. Visit from poison. Maho.
Mataji,
Aha.
just one minute. Hare Krishna.
Tell me, Prabhu.
Mataji, you read translation. The synonyms will be read by Sandhya Mataji. Okay?
Okay, Prabhu.
You will read translation, Mataji, next.
Okay.
Sandhya Mataji, please go with the synonyms, Mataji.
Sure, Prabhuji. Synonyms: Vishat, from poison; Mahagani, from the great fire; Purushada, the man-eaters; Darshanath, by combating; Asat, vicious; sorry, Prabhuji. Shabdaya, assembly;
Sabhaya. Sabhaya.
Sabhaya, assembly; Vanavasa, exile to the forest; Krichritaha, sufferings; Mride, again and again in battle; Aneka, many; Maharata, great generals; Astrataha, weapons; Drauni, the son of Dronacharya; Astrataha, from the weapon of; Cha, and Asma, indicating past tense; Hare, O my Lord; Abhirakshitaha, protected completely.
Yeah, Brahmarama Mataji, please read the translation.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, one thing I want to tell you, I was not well, that's why I was not able to attend the classes.
Never mind, Mataji, it doesn't matter.
No. It's okay. I have to tell to you because my conscience always.
No, not needed, Mataji. Even we will do that. You will come to know as time passes.
It's okay, Mataji. Why? Everybody, we has everybody. The problem.
After the class, my class, I came here, Prabhuji. My dear Krishna, your Lordship has protected us from a poisoned cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And how you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwadhama.
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much. So, will any other devotee like to do the synonyms and translation? 2 more devotees, or should I go to the verse?
I can do, Prabhuji.
Huh?
I can do.
Yeah, do. Go ahead, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Synonyms: Vishat, from poison; Mahagne, from the great fire; Purushada, the man-eaters; Darshanath, by combating; Asat, vicious; Sabyaha, assembly; Vanavasa, exile to the forest; Krichataha, sufferings; Mride, again and again in battle; Neka, many; Maharatha, great generals; Asrata, weapons; Drauni, the son of Dronacharya; Ashrataha, from the weapon of; Cha and Asma, indicating past tense. Hare, O my Lord, Abhirakshitaha, protected completely. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna Prabhuji, can I read
Yes,
translation?
Yeah. Read,
Translation. My dear Krishna, your lordship has protected us from a poisoned cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where the great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you could understand this shloka, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
So someone is speaking. I'm just trespassing his words. Who is that, Prabhu?
Me only.
You wanted to speak something?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
Prabhu.
me only. I was asking. Don't tell, Prabhu. So, what is the weapon of Ashwatthama? Anybody? Devotees?
Brahmastra.
Brahmastra, Prabhuji.
Sorry, well, that's what I want to ask, Prabhu. Yeah, continue, Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So I will just explain these 4 lines what they describe, Prabhu. See, Visha means poison. Okay. Mahagni means great fire, lac house. Okay. Purushada means in the forests, while exiled, there are many man-eaters whom they came across. These people, these 5 Pandavas. Darshana means you protected from these kings. From where? Asat Sabha, Vanavasa, Krishritaha, sufferings of the Vanavasa. And man-eaters, Mahagni, Vishan, Mridhe Aneka Maharathastra. Mridhe means again and again you have been helping, protecting us. And where you have protected us? Maharathastra. Maharatha means many generals who are against these Pandavas. The Kauravas, this one, army. Draunyaastras. Of all those Maharathis, Drauna and Bhishma has complete different things. They are complete at different level. Draunyaastras chasma hare virakshita. And what is that? Draunya's son's astra, Ashwatthama's. What is his astra? The greatest astra, Brahmastra. And where is it pointed towards? The only hair which is in the womb. Okay. So these are the kinds of protection which you have given us, Krishna. This is what Kunti wanted to tell to Krishna. Understood, not clear to everyone?
Prabhu, yes, sir.
Yes,
The great fire and Lakshagruha kada?
Lakshagriha. Great fire means Lakshagriha. And
Cannibals
man-eaters means?
Cannibals.
Cannibals means that Bhima will take, na? Bhima will save small Brahmana boy. You remember that, Prabhu? Kunti will say, no, Bhima will eat all that rice and he will alone go to that.
Ekachakra Dam.
I don't remember the name of that demon, Prabhu, but he's a man-eater. No?
Acha. And this one, poisoned cake and
Hidimba Sura?
Hidimba?
Hidimba Sura. Yeah, Hidimba, Prabhuji.
Acha, Hidimba, yes, Prabhu. Yes, you are right. No, Prabhu.
But వేరే ప్రభుకి అంటే రోజు ఒక ఫ్యామిలీని పంపించమంటారు తినడానికి.
అదే past time కానీ so Prabhu,
past time only. I don't remember the name of that demon. If you can search in that, what is it? Google.
So ఈ poisoned cake ఏం ప్రభు అది నాకు గుర్తు రావట్లేదు.
Yeah, Prabhu, even before the Lakshagriha, they will try to poison.
Dronacharya, when I was boy, right, Prabhuji, like Bhima, he has given like that one, Prabhuji, poison cake means. Bhima will like అదే ప్రభుజీ అక్కడ ఇస్తారు కదా ప్రభుజీ పాయిజన్ ఇస్తారు కదా భీమాకి అదేనా ప్రభుజీ?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. Means actually, what is say, Kunti will come to know that something mishap is happening because her right hand will be shivering. Her right body will be shivering. So she will get to know that there is some mischief is happening. So she will guide them not to eat. This is before even going to Lakshagriha only. I forgot, Prabhuji. I'm sorry. I'm about to read again those things, but still it is Pratham Bhagam only. It is a lifetime project for me. I will do it and I will let you know afterwards properly where it is.
No problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lavanya Mataji, your
internet feeble అవుతుంది ఫస్ట్
మీది వినపడట్లేదు మాతాజీ మాట స్లోగా వస్తుంది బాగా ఒకసారి
ఇగ్నోర్ bro, it's okay. Internet issue. First fix the internet issue. Unable to hear. Switch on, switch off Wi-Fi, and then you start speak if you want. Okay, unable to hear. Switch on, switch off that Wi-Fi tower.
Shall we start with reciting the verse?
Yeah. Yes, bro.
You understood, na? The main theme of this verse. It's just a gratitude of how you have served, saved us from different calamities. Okay. We'll go with a normal recitation tune. Okay. Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshanat.
Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshanat.
Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshanat.
Vishan
Mahagne Purushada Darshanat.
Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshanat.
Vishan Mahagne
Purushada Darshanat.
Asar Sabhaya Vanavasa Krishritaha.
Asat 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 Sabhaya Vanavasa Krishritaha.
I could only hear one or two voices. Why it is so? Let everyone recite out, please. Mridhe mridheneka maharathastrato.
Mridhe mridheneka maharathastrato.
Mridhe mridheneka maharathastrato.
Mridhe mridheneka maharathastrato.
Mridhe mridheneka maharathastrato. Draunyastratascha hare virachitaः. Draunyastrachascha hare virachitaः. Draunyastratascha hare virachitaः. Shall I repeat any line more, or is that okay?
We can do two lines, Prabhuji.
Two lines.
Okay.
Then. Yeah.
Okay. Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshanat Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krishritaha.
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 Mridhe mridheneka maharathastrato Draunyastratascha hare virachitaः. Mridhe mridheneka maharathastrato Draunyastratascha hare virachitaः.
Mridheneka maharathastrato
मृधे मृधेनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौण्यस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिताः
मृधे
Okay, the last line, please remember. Draunyastrataschasma harebhirakshitaः. Astratas should be separated. Okay. Yes, please. Every devotee one by one can practice. Start practice.
Yeah, Lavanya, can you please do? Hare Krishna.
विशान महात्मे पुरुषाद दर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवास कृष्टता
Again, please.
कृष्टः. What, Prabhuji?
Krishritaha.
అది శ్ర మాతది, అది రాసినప్పుడు చ అని ఉంటుంది కానీ ఇట్ ఇస్ శ్ర.
कृष्टः. विशान्महाग्ने पुरुषाद दर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवास कृष्टता मृडे मृडेनेकमहारथस्त्रतो द्रौण्यस्ततत्रश्च महरेभिरक्षिता.
द्रौण्यस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिताः. చదవండి మాతాజీ.
ద్రౌణ్యస్త్ర అండ్ తశ్చాస్మ అక్కడ చిన్న డివైడ్ చేయాలి. ద్రౌణ్యస్త్ర తశ్చాస్మ. ఓకే.
ద్రౌణ్యస్తతత్రాశ్చ महरेभिरक्षिता.
ద్రౌణ్యస్త్ర తశ్చాస్మ హరేభిరక్షితా. ద్రౌణ్యస్త్ర ఒక వర్డ్, తశ్చాస్మ ఒక వర్డ్. ఓకే.
Yeah, we'll try. You carry on.
Yes. Deepa Mataji, Sandhya Mataji.
विशान महाग्ने पुरुषाद दर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवास कृष्यता मृधे मृधेनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौण्यस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिताः. हरे कृष्ण.
Very nice. Sandhya Mataji or Radhika Mataji?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु. विशान महाग्नेः पुरुषात् दर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवास कृचित्तः मृदे मृदेनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौण्यस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षितः. Sorry Prabhuji. Tune.
Chinna. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Radhika Mataji.
Yeah. विशान महाग्ने पुरुषाद दर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवास कृच्छ्रिता मृधे मृदेनेकमहारथाश्रतो द्रोणस्त्रताश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिता.
Perfect. Hari Bol. Thank you, Mataji. ఇంకెవరున్నారు? Mataji, I think done. Yeah, Prabhuji. Raju Prabhu.
సంయుక్త మాతాజీ చేశారా?
సంయుక్త Mataji absent ఈ రోజు. వాళ్ళు
Yes, Prabhuji. विशान महाग्नेः पुरुषाद दर्शनात् असत्सभया वनवास कृच्छ्रुतः मृधे मृदेनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौणी अस्त्रात्स्म हरेभिरक्षिता.
లాస్ట్ లైన్ ఒకసారి నాతో చేయండి మాతాజీ. సరే నేను ఇప్పుడు చేస్తాను, నేను అది రిపీట్ చేయండి.
ఓకే ప్రభుజీ.
द्रौण्यस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिताः
द्रौणे अस्त्रतस्मा हरेभिरक्षिता
द्रौण्यस्त्र अनंడి माताजी द्रौण्यस्त्र
अस्त्र
द्रौण्यस्त्र
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 तश्चास्म तश्चास्म
तच्चास्म
तश्चास्म
तच्चास्म
రిపీట్ చేయండి నాతో 4 టైమ్స్ తశ్చాస్మ
तच्चास्म
తశ్చాస్మ
तच्चास्म
తశ్చాస్మ
तच्चास्म
మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి మొత్తం లైన్ చదువుతాను నాతో మాతాజీ నాతో రిపీట్ చేయండి ద్రౌణ్యస్త్ర తశ్చాస్మ హరేభిరక్షిత చదవండి మాతాజీ
ప్రభుజీ అక్కడ ఇక్కడ సెపరేషన్ కి మీరు చెప్పేదానికి డిఫరెన్స్ ఉండేటప్పటికి పట్టుకోవడం కష్టంగా ఉంది ప్రభుజీ.
అదే మీకు టైం పడుతుంది మాతాజీ. మీరు ఈ మధ్యగా జాయిన్ అయింది 1 or 3 days కలుగుతుంది. మేము ఆల్రెడీ 6 months 7 months తర్వాత వాళ్ళకి అర్థమైంది అనమాట ఎక్కడ విడగొట్టలేదు. వాళ్ళంతా సింక్ అయిపోయినారు, అందుకే వాళ్ళకి అంత ఫాస్ట్ గా వస్తుంది. డోంట్ బి వరీడ్ మాతాజీ, ఇట్ విల్ టేక్ టైం.
ఇట్స్ ఓకే.
ద్రౌణ్యస్త్రతశ్చాస్మ హరేభిరక్షితాః.
ద్రౌణ్యస్త్రతస్మై హరేభిరక్షితా. Today I will practice that, Prabhuji. I will keep some video.
ఒకసారి సంస్కృతం ఉంటుంది పైన, దాన్ని ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి వచ్చేస్తాం.
I will practice, Prabhuji, definitely.
Yeah, it's okay, Mataji. And who else? Prabhuji. Sapan Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Bol.
Mahagne Purushad Darshanat Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichrata Mride Mridene Kamaharatashtrato Draunyastrataschaashma Hare Virakshita.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Raj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Vishan Mahagne Purushat Darshanat असत सभाया वनवास कृच्छितः ब्रुधे ब्रुधेनेक महारथास्त्रो द्रौण्यस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षितः.
కొంచెం ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి ప్రభు ఇవాళ, ఓకేనా? థర్డ్ లైన్
బ్రుదే బ్రుదేనేక మహారథాస్త్రో
రథాస్త్రతో
మహారథాస్త్రతో.
సరే, ఓకే. My dear friend Akinjan Prabhu, please.
Prabhuji, sorry Prabhuji, I am actually on the way to office.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Prabhu. Then it's okay. You are practicing, na? You will practice today, Prabhu. Then you understood this? Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. Yes, Prabhu. Giriraj Prabhu, please.
అందరూ అయిపోయిందా ప్రభు?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Vishan Mahagne Purushad Darshanat Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krishrata Mrudhe Neka Maharatashtrato Draunyastrataschasma Hare-virakshita.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. It's already 9:17, Prabhu. So please, we will conclude this today. And Prabhu, we will keep a target for tomorrow.
Done. Everybody done, huh?
By 8:40, 45 we will stop.
Thank you so much again. Yeah, thank you very much for today joining, reading and sloka recitation, chanting. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Reading ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you so much. Happy Thursday. Be in Krishna. Stay happy. Be in Krishna consciousness. See you all tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.